Hello, comrades. Commissar Bro here today with the 18th year of DCB Shoes and Company of the business strategy game. That's right. I know I totally skipped year 17, and I might have skipped. I don't think I skipped year 16, but I accidentally did skip one of the years there. So I apologize for that. And I've been really busy, and I haven't had time to fix that. So it is what it is. But on the bright side, things are going. There's not a whole lot of bright side, really. Our company, for the most part, is pretty much stagnated. I mean, revenues have gone up, but by minuscule numbers over the past 3 years, we've managed to maintain high returns on equity and stock prices and whatnot, but this might change in the coming year. Our competitors have been getting very aggressive on various sales and whatnot. We've lost a little bit of our internet sales despite the fact that we've been steady growing in internet sales over the past couple of years. So that's one thing to keep in mind. Our global market share did drop a little bit this year, and our image rating definitely went down. Basically, what happened is one of our competitors kicked us out of a private label market again, which was pretty nasty and terrifying, despite the fact that year 16, we actually did really well overall. We beat expectations in year 16. We got our stock price up to $3.15. Our image rating was 99. Things were looking really good, actually, all things considered, even though sales overall were a bit shorter in year 16, but total revenues were up. So I don't know how the hell that makes any sense, but whatever, it makes sense. Shit works, right? Shit works if it ain't broke. Our overall wholesale sales have been increasing steadily. Our private label sales are up and down. Again, our opponents are very competitive in those markets. And in the most recent year, our earnings per share did go down from year 16. Our stock price went down $13. Image rating went down. Our global share went down. Most things tended to go down. Our image rating our credit rating has stayed the same at an A+. Our return on equity went up, and again, overall revenues went up. So for the most part, we're looking pretty good. If we looked into more specifics, if we wanted to, we could kind of see our opponents and what they're doing. Honestly, for the most part, this year was kind of a downer for everybody. It was almost like an economic downturn, really. I don't really know how else to describe it. Everyone lost money in terms of earnings per share and stock price. Everyone's stock price went down. As you can see right here, we were probably the least affected, aside from company F and G. But for the most part, I mean, we have so much money in terms of how much we make that it wasn't that big of a deal. But, again, it is worth noting that. Now, I do want to point out, for the past, 4 weeks in a row, we are the number one company in the world. We are tied in first place with about 10 other people, 10 other companies in the entire world, and we are number one. So that's a really cool thing to keep in mind. We have pretty much been dead on for the most part with our predictions within about 5% variance of the past 3 years. Again, for the most part, we've pretty much nailed it as far as it's gone. We've gotten a lot of bonus points for that. We get the Bullseye Award and whatnot quite often. We didn't get the Leapfrog Award this year because our current year score is the same. I mean, we have basically had, of the past couple of years, we've had 4 years at 110, 1 year at 2 years at 109, and 1 year at 103. We've never scored below 100, which is really cool. So for the most part, we're doing really well with our company. If we wanted to take a look at the market snapshot, we could get more specifics of what's going on. Again, you can kind of see we lost out in this market. We did manage to take a little bit from our opponents, but Company E undoubtedly took it by storm. Again, I have no idea how he sells his shoes so cheap and makes a profit. His profit margins are thin as hell. But he knows that that's the way he can compete with me, is by selling his shoes at really cheap prices. And it's working for him for the most part. So that's pretty cool that he's able to compete with us in that way. Again, no one competes with us on the quality of our shoes, and for the most part, we're making a lot of cash from the quality of our shoes and the price we're selling it at. It's a good price compared to some of our other opponents in the game. This is just North America. Taking a look at North America, you can see that we don't really own the market in North America. Honestly, there's stronger competitors here. And we've been losing our support for the past couple of years in the North American market. just because our opponents are getting smart and they're starting to really heavily compete against us. Honestly, we are target number one, so we get looked at a lot in terms of, all right, what am I going to do to be more successful, or how can I do better against my opponent? And again, it's working really well for them. Taking a look at Europe, Africa, we pretty much consistently own this market, even in terms of the private label sales. As you can see here, we still sell our shoes at a strong price, and we make all of our money back. Their demand was met here, to put it bluntly. We met the demand, and we control that market, but we might not control it next year. We'll see. We sold our shoes for a pretty high profit in this particular area, but again, the profit margin in Europe, Africa is the smallest of all of them, so we want to try to make that money back. Half of our opponents, for what the prices they're probably selling their shoes, they're not making near anything on those shoes if they're selling them at $35. So that is what it is. Looking at the Asia Pacific market, again, Company E completely left this market untouched. So this is where we came in, selling our shoes at $33.9. We're not as good quality as Company F, but it doesn't matter. I mean, we sold more shoes. We had more shoes available to be bought. And again, we own, for the most part, we own most of the markets here. Company E is being a real strong competitor and how effective they are. But again, they're selling their shoes so cheap that I'm not even going to try to compete with that. I'm going to sell my shoes at a modest price with double the quality, as you can see, of his shoes, and I'm going to take what I can get. So we did a really good job here, and as you can see, we actually increased our market share this turn alone by 131,000 extra pairs. Latin America, once again, we don't fully own this market, but we took a huge chunk away from our opponents. Again, we're still heavily competing with Company E here, who's doing the same thing all around the board. Thankfully for us, we still control a majority market share in that sense, and we're still making our money. But we can see, again, that our opponents are putting up a hell of a fight, and they are not making this easy for us at all. And looking at total demand, for the most part, total demand was met. The only place it wasn't was the Asia Pacific region. So there's a strong possibility that our that Company E is actually going to come in next year and fix that particular situation. So it's going to be kind of scary, as if we can actually continue the way we've been doing it. I'm trying not to show my prices and the idea. With the idea that, anyone could be watching, like they could, come on and check it and see what I'm doing, which for the most part really isn't that big of a deal, but it is entirely possible that they can. And look, once again, all the capacity was bought by Company F, who has been slowly increasing her capacity for the past couple of weeks. So it's interesting, but there's plenty of capacity to be bought currently, so we could buy more if we wanted to. Well, it looks like there's only 400 pairs to buy right here in the Asia Pacific region. So you know what? I don't really mind actually buying some more pairs, but that would actually bring our scores down. So I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe not this time. I mean, there's only 2 weeks left, once counting next week and then the week after. If we're looking at our overall projected performance, shit's looking great. There's no other way of putting it. We're paying back dividends. We're paying back stock. We're doing really good. And our shareholders are definitely pleased with our performance. Even if we don't control the majority of the market anymore, or we don't control a large share of it, as far as the game is concerned, we have been doing a great job at it, and we're going to end the game on a really high note. So, I'm happy for the most part. I'm pretty much happy with most of this stuff. So, I'm good with it. And I'm good with our operating profit margins, how much money we're making in various areas. I could even bring a couple of them down a little bit because, why not? I'm making the money. So, yeah, I can bring that down just a little bit. No big deal. And maintain a larger share of the market and not giving it away to our opponents. Because ultimately, that's what's going to happen, right? Is they're just going to come in and they're going to take it if we are not careful. Our inventory shortfall is going to be kind of steep this year. We are giving up a large share. But again, I'm feeling confident. I'm feeling real confident in how we perform overall. It's not going to be that bad, right? right? That's kind of the way I look at it. There's not too much that our opponents can do to kind of take us off our high horse. We're pretty much high up on the list, and it would take some a concerted effort from our opponents to bring us down. So I'm pretty much happy with how this is all going right now. And for the most part, I don't really think there's too many changes I would make. I could adjust prices and stuff like that more, but I'm not going to. I want to just go ahead and sell these at the prices that I'm offering and hope that people buy them, basically. I mean, again, I'm offering a good quality shoe here, and I have faith and confidence in my market and my ability to sell to the people that I sell my shoes to. So that's kind of a thing. Anyway, this has been CB. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I hope you've enjoyed so far. This is week 18, week 8, year 18, going into year 19. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. Well, projected year 18 performance anyway. I'm feeling pretty good. I'm feeling pretty good with everything overall, and hopefully we can keep everything going as planned and keep that image rating up, man, without losing too much money. Like, look at that. If we want to bring it up a little bit, we can, but it cuts into our cash flow, so I'm not even going to do that. We'll keep the workforce diversity program, though. That one's a cheap one, and it increases our rating pretty good, so we're just not going to do the other two. But no big deal. We'll still be making some pretty strong numbers there. Our total net profit's going up. Total net revenues are going up. Everything looks pretty good. But anyway, this has been CB, and I'll see you next time.